Hey, it's BT with Tales from a Gemini. My guest is Angelo Tiger Robles Jr., MMA fighter, 2-0. I know him. He was a bouncer at the comedy club, and now we're like this. It's his first podcast ever. I think you're going to like this. Tiger Robles Jr., MMA fighter. Enjoy. You know what? When I got somebody tough on, right, I always have a tough workout, and I don't know, I go a little harder, and that's what I did today. For you, I was in the gym like, I feel like I gotta go tougher. You know what I mean? That's what I did. I knew you were gonna be on. Hey, it's BT with Tales from a Gemini. Today I got a literal ass kicker. He is what? Are you 3-0 now?
2-0, 2-0, 6-0, and as an amateur. So.
Oh god dang! Well, amateur, it's done now.
Ryan with the 0.
Yeah, it's done now though. You can throw the amateur out the window, bro. You're pro now. Hey, this guy right here, he is Angelo. Is it Angelo or Angelo?
If you're around my family, it'd probably be Angelo, but no, we're going with Angelo. And,
because you're in Indiana, that's why you're going to Angelo.
If you know me on the streets, it's just better to call me Tiger. That's
Tiger Robles Jr. This guy, here's how I met this guy. I was at the comedy club, and I see this dude with ears, and I go, man, this guy's gonna be the greatest bouncer ever. We didn't have to worry about anybody talking in the show. And ever since then, we had like nice little symmetry. Man, right from the get go, we're like, boom. I go, you used to wrestle? Yeah, right then and there, I knew we were gonna be like this. So yeah, so I'm glad to have you on the show, bro.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, man. My first ever podcast.
First ever. He's breaking his cherry on the show.
Yeah.
On the show. Oh my God. I told you why. I'm bringing nothing but the best, bro.
I'm honored, you know?
No, I'm honored. I'm honored. When the last time you got tested in the streets, man? When the last time
in the streets? Yeah. Thankfully, I've never been in a street fight.
Really?
I try and stay away.
Of course you do, but
I'm the type that's gonna run.
No, you know, it's always best to run because you never know if somebody has. And you got, honestly, now that you're a fighter, you know, you're probably gonna be one of the greatest in the UFC, probably ever. And so somebody's, you know, you pull a knife, or they could step on your toe and you get like a hangnail or something like that. I mean, you never know. So, you know, you got to be careful. So yeah, but you never, even growing up, you never had fight in the streets?
Dude, if I can think about growing up, well, you know, I got in like altercations with the neighborhood kids growing up a little bit, but even then I was still the kind of type to run away and tuck my legs. I was never the tough guy. I was afraid of, you know, I was the kid that was scared to go in the deep end of the pool. You know, I grew up a little scaredy cat. It wasn't until I found jiu-jitsu, man, that I started gaining some confidence in myself.
How bad was was it like a bad confidence, or was it like, were you scared all the time, and what were you afraid of? Was it getting hit, or was it because me, I always like, if it goes down, I'm confident what I can do when it goes down. Like, if okay, it's going down, I can see myself, okay, here we go. But it's the lead up to it that I go, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Somebody starts screaming, they go, look at motherfucker. But if they hit me first, I go, okay, then I'm ready. So how about you? Like, what was it like?
It depends on what age. You know, I started jiu-jitsu when I was 13. Okay. But before that, I was just scared of life. You know, I feel like I carried a lot of anxiety. I didn't know how to work hard. You know, I was lazy. I played video games all the time. I would talk shit in video games, but come real life, there was no talking shit. I mean, I wasn't gonna let someone beat me up. I would throw down, and if it came down to throw down. But even then, I never really got into stuff in school. I remember I got into like probably 2 fights in middle school, but nothing significant.
But on Call of Duty, you're the man, though.
Oh yeah. That was all 13-year-olds, man. I'll talk about your mom over Call of Duty, but you know, we're not. When it comes to real life, I was the kind. You know, it was like the Twitter of the day before Twitter was a thing. You just talk shit over Call of Duty.
I just can't see you fucking on Call of Duty just talking shit. So, yeah, well, come on down here and I'll straighten you out, motherfucker. And knowing you're like fucking 10 years old and shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I got no muscle. I couldn't do a pull up.
Really?
No, I was that kind of kid, you know? Yeah.
What was your game of choice?
Call of Duty, for sure.
Really?
Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2. Those were the 2. Those are the games.
Do you still play?
No, man. I rarely ever play video games now.
Really?
It's just a big... I just know how I can get. If I start playing, I'll spend hours playing video games.
Are you like that? When you find something, you just lock in?
Pretty much, yeah.
Are you Gemini? Yeah. That's me.
No, I'm I believe Capricorn.
When were you born?
January 19th.
Oh, that's right. Happy birthday.
Hey, thank you.
How old are you, bro? Like 23?
28.
28?
Hey, thank you.
Oh my
You're
God,
making me
you look
feel
like
young.
a baby.
I'm trying to age in reverse, man. That's why I do all this biohacking stuff, saunas and cold showers.
You like the Puerto Rican Benjamin Buttons.
Yes, that's why I try to tell you I'm trying to age like Benjamin Button, man, in the other way.
You look good though, man.
Thank you.
I see you do that. I saw you do that the ice bath, but you kind of cheated because it was in front of your house and it was in the summertime.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, no
you gotta
offense,
call
but
me out.
dude, it's no offense, but that's easy. You got to make it hard.
I do.
You got to make. Here's what I do. Now today, I'm not gonna lie. What you said resonated because you said sometimes I don't really do it, and you hesitate, and that's me because I do the same thing with cold showers. Like I learned it from Wyatt. There, surprisingly, he has good advice. Surprisingly, so like he told me about taking cold showers. So it's what, a third year doing this, Wyatt. Third year doing this, and I've never taken I only taken a hot shower twice since I've known him. That was this year because I had a cold and I was really prickly, and I go, I'll just, take a hot shower, and then once I'm well again, I'll go back taking cold showers. And it's the getting in, especially like now when it's the winter time.
Yeah.
And I get to working out, I go, man, I go, whew. And but then you just got to take that first step and then you embrace it. You can't pussyfoot it. You got to get in and just let the water hit you. And I'll just do a scream and you're good.
Yeah.
You do a scream and you get like, ah, and then you go, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's cathartic, man. You just let it all out. I literally started my morning with a cold shower today, 5 minutes. I'll even, what I find helps is I'll brush my teeth in there. I just get zoned in.
That's nasty. That's just nasty.
What's nasty about that?
I would rather pee in the shower than brush my teeth.
Why
in the
not
shower.
do both?
Pee and brush my teeth?
Yeah, well, not at the same time, but
I hope not.
kill two birds with one stone.
You know what? That is true because you know what? With a cold shower, you're not in there a long time. Like like when it's a hot shower, you might pussyfoot around there forever. But when a cold shower, you hit the important spots and you get out.
Yeah. Well, when I hear that little voice in your head of like, don't do it, I'll tell myself, dude, just get in for a minute, and then once I'm in there, the next thing I know, it's 3 minutes and it's easy.
Well, to me, the easy part is I always listen to music when I'm in there. Like
so do I.
And once you get a song, if you're really into the song, it eliminates the cold because your brain is taken someplace else. And I learned that gets me through. Like if I listen to a podcast, it's different because I don't know where it's going. It's like, oh, it's cold. But if you listen to music, oh, that's my jam. And next thing you know, oh yeah, it's supposed to be cold. Yeah. But it's not. But it still gets you on the back.
And if you know how long the song is, you can endure that amount of time.
Bingo. See, I should be your coach. I should be your coach.
Oh no, you want to take over that Coach Pat role? That's a big spot to fill.
Man, Coach Pat's great, but you know who is the man? Nick Hyde.
Nick Hyde.
Tell me how great.
Dude.
Tell people how great Nick Hyde is. Now, Chris Lytle is great. Don't get me wrong. Chris Lytle, I think, would have been great anyway. He's tough mentality.
Dude's a savage.
But Nick Hyde helped train him, and it was iron sharpening iron. But tell people how great Nick Hyde is.
So I was under Nick Hyde and James Klingerman before I met Coach Pat. And he was literally the person I would spar with every day, and not every day sparring. That's not good for you, but I was under his tutelage, you could say. Mm-hmm. And the man is, like you could say, like myself, he does not age. I call him Blade whenever when I see him. He doesn't age. He's almost 50 years old. The guy looks like he's fucking 35 and could fight in the UFC tomorrow.
Yeah, honestly, I probably think he could. I mean, Nick Hyde is that dude,
yeah,
man.
He's him and Corey Anderson just met for the first time yesterday. Corey Anderson, former light heavyweight of the UFC, just fought for light heavyweight Bellator championship. Yeah, he's working with us now. He's living in Indiana when he's not training for big fights and going out to Toms River, New Jersey, but. Yeah. Nick Hyde, they just met for the first time. And I'm like, how cool to be a fly on the wall in that room. I wish I could have been there.
Oh, man, those two together. I mean, I don't know him, though. I respect him, of course. But yeah, I respect Nick because Nick's brother is a mechanic for my motorcycle. He fixes my motorcycle. Okay. So yeah, he one time he kept it like 6 months. I go, man, I need my bike, dude. And he's great. But then I didn't realize Nick was his brother. And I'm like, wow. And he told me about, all things, Nick is a great dude.
Great man.
Great guy, man.
I mean, he's just going to make you a better person.
Yeah.
No matter what, you talk to him, you work out with him, he's going to make you a better person just off of one interaction. And the guy you see is striking and you're like, I don't want to strike with this guy. And then you think like, maybe I should take this guy down. And then you find out he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he's like the worst nightmare. It's like, where is his weakness? Where's his Achilles heel? Where's his Achilles heel? I mean, he's great on his feet, and you go, I'll take him down, and he's like, oh yeah, I live here too. You know what I mean?
I don't want to be the guy that's got to try and solve that puzzle.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll just try and learn from you instead.
Okay, so what do you do if you meet somebody like that? Because I mean, I'm gonna go on a limb and say, well, actually, I'll take that back. I was gonna say, your home is being on the mat because you're a wrestler and now jiu-jitsu, but you made the Golden Gloves and went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Coach Pat, man, he's the genius behind it all. It was only, to be honest, it was one boxing match. I know a lot of the Golden Gloves guys, they got to go through like a tournament almost, multiple opponents to get to the championships. But yeah, I'm not a boxer. And I took up boxing because of Coach Pat for his whole summer. He's like, hey, we're just going to do nothing but straight up stand up because that's what I needed to work on. Yeah. That was, I got a lot of good working with Nick, but, meeting Coach Pat, he's just a genius when it comes to noticing details. And he goes to Thailand and works in Muay Thai and just has come across multiple champions he's worked with and coached a lot of guys to the UFC. But just the man that we're going to throw you into boxing and it doesn't care how you feel about it. And there's times I'd walk out of the gym in tears because I got my ass whooped by boxers.
Dude, I mean, I give you
But that's what it takes.
But I know what that's like. I know what that's like because I was like you. I've always said, man, get me on the ground. I'll get you on the ground. I'm comfortable. But it was that stand up, like, man, when somebody pops you and your nose goes, like, not like, but that. And you're like, oh, and you just instantly start watering, and then you got to take some more punches. Yeah, it's the punches, man. Punches in the face. It's not very pleasant.
It's not for the faint of heart. It's just getting over that, and that's what helps with going with Nick and how scary he was to spar with. Was getting over that flinching. Whenever you start getting hit in the face, you want to flinch from every punch. And if someone, if you're a high school dude or you got, high school friends, you would always do the flinch game. Like you try and, I made you flinch. That's 2 punches. That was always the thing. And that's something that's very hard as a fighter to overcome. And you see a lot of guys that if they're not comfortable with the feet, that's kind of one of the first glimpses you get of reading them is, they don't take punches very well. Or that's kind of like Brock Lesnar's thing. Once guys figured out, he doesn't like to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
That if I can hold off his takedowns.
But let me tell you something about Brock. People talked shit about this guy. But let me tell you something. As far as some of the greatest athletes that I've ever seen in my life, Brock Lesnar to me is one of the top 20.
Yes.
Because that guy, he hadn't played football, I don't know how long. He almost made the Vikings.
Yeah.
He almost made the Vikings, okay? Then when it comes to, he went to the UFC and he was a heavyweight champion, in less than a year?
And he had led less than 5 fights.
I mean, granted, he was a Division I wrestler, and that's a whole different brand.
For Minnesota, national champion.
That's a whole different brand of ass whooping right there. It's a Division I wrestler. I've wrestled Division I wrestlers, and it's like, wow.
Same.
You got to know it. I mean, you've wrestled the University of Indianapolis, right?
Yes,
which
sir.
is
5 years.
Division II?
Division II. Yeah.
Okay, so you wrestled Division I wrestler at open tournaments, right?
Yes, sir.
That is a different world.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've wrestled unattached wrestlers. Those who don't know what I'm talking about. Unattached means these guys are getting ready for the Olympics or some kind of international event where you take on Russians like our sound guy Nikolai, who's the spy. Anyway, like you take on those guys, and that's a different brand of ass whooping. And wrestler, you're like, how is this person so physically stronger and quicker than me? Like, how did you? And so to watch Brock do what he did, and people talk shit, I go, man, let me tell you something. Brock learned at a great level, and I was watching him. People say like he was afraid of boxing, but if you watch his movements were great. Yeah, I mean, okay, who does like the hit in the face? And he didn't do bad. It's just that I remember Cain Velasquez was another animal who ate him up, and so did
also a former college wrestler,
Division I, and also the big boy from
Shane Carwin.
No, from he beat the shit out of Shane Carwin, but the one from the Netherlands.
Alistair Overeem.
Overeem,
the Reem.
before he got was pharmaceuticals. He was.
It was horse meat, man. That's what it was.
Well, yeah, watch that guy. Watch it before. I don't know why he went that big because he was great before.
Yeah,
he really was. I'm like
over in Japan.
And then, he did what he did. And I'm like, why would you do that? But anyway, Brock was a great athlete. I hate to see people talk shit about him.
No, and even then, I'm not trying to talk shit about him. But it's just one of those things where you notice of such an animal, of such a beast, that was one of the chinks in the armor.
Yeah.
Right? Was that you could tell, okay, his stand-up is the opening in his game if you were going to try and attack him. And even then, good luck. Yeah. Because the man is built like a tank.
Yeah. Then good luck. I mean, okay, he don't like hit in the face, but you got to get to that face.
Yes.
And if you can rush him and, take a couple coming in, right? Like if you watch the old tapes of the BJJ with the Gracies.
Yes.
Right. I've been to that academy, the one in Torrance, where everybody's standing around. He takes on, I think, a karate expert or whatever, and he beats the shit out of him. And he takes a couple going in, but once he grabs you, it is over. Yeah. And that's what Brock could do. Brock, throw that punch. And then once he gets, I remember Randy going, that's a big son of a bitch. Remember Randy Couture?
He dropped Randy Couture.
Yes.
Yeah. But the guy has his fists are the size of watermelons.
They literally are.
So good luck trying to strike with him anyways.
I remember I was on a plane. I was in Memphis, Tennessee at the airport. And I remember seeing him get off the plane, and I go, "That's the biggest human being I've ever seen." I've been around Division I football players. My brother's Division I football player, and I go, "That is the biggest human being I've ever seen in my life, bro."
Yeah.
So props to him. But how about you now? So so you're not comfortable, or you get more comfortable.
Very comfortable now.
We're getting hit, but still, are you like staying in the pocket comfortable? Like
yes.
Like 10 toes down. Let's do this.
Yes.
Or would you still rather go to the ground?
No, I'm more than comfortable on my feet now. Again, because of Coach Pat, the last 4 years I've been training under him, I sitting in the pocket. It's something that's been the hurdle. Can you sit in the pocket? Can you find your range of sitting in there and be comfortable? Because I learned early on when I was doing my amateur fights that was the thing I needed to work on, and staying composed. That's huge, because if you enter the pocket and you let your hands drop, you get lazy with your technique or your head movement, the next thing you know, you could be waking up on the ground. And
you got a cold compress on your head going, "It's okay." Shh.
Yeah. And yeah, but any uncomfortableness that you experience in the fight is gonna deteriorate your gas tank.
Yes.
Like the more you feel comfortable, you're gonna be more tense and you're gonna gas out.
Yes, anxiety.
Yes.
I had a jiu-jitsu tournament in Michigan, and I don't know why that entire tournament I was just like that, and I couldn't get comfortable, and I got beat by a guy. I was like, props to him or whatever, but I think I could have beat him, but I was just and I felt like
it's like that jumping in the ice bath for the first time.
Yeah, almost it is. Yeah, and then it's like I should have just
hyperventilation.
Down. Yeah, man. So I'm glad you found that, man. So now you're comfortable like anywhere, right?
Yes. I mean, every other day we're doing stand up, we're doing all these different, like, literally things that guys go to Thailand for. I have that in my coach. So that's, before I met Coach Pat, and I keep bringing him up, but he's the guy. The genius really behind it all is that he goes to Thailand every so often. He holds pads for world champions,
literal world champions.
Before I met him, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to Team Alpha Male, or I'm gonna go to this place or this camp. I thought, like, you got to be in these big places, where I find out that's not the case. It helps to have talent that is just like you. You really, build off of each other. Sharpens iron, sharpens iron, iron sharpens iron.
You're hitting head too many times. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. You take punches
that
to the
alpha
face.
brain did not.
You take punches
work.
to the face. It's okay. It's okay, man. You take punches.
That's my excuse. I don't want to manifest it though. Yeah. I don't want to speak that into existence. The brain damage.
It's okay. You can always have a job as a bouncer.
Yeah. Hey, cut that, right? Can we
You'll always have a job as a bouncer, no matter what happens, man.
But no, and thankfully I found a coach that I found that I don't need to go to a big gym and pay lots of money. I have the privilege of having a genius coach who, I was just telling someone the other day, I want to find someone that is as dedicated as I am, that is as crazy as I am.
Yeah.
Someone that he is a full-time officer and is in the gym more than anyone else.
And he takes yoga, because I took yoga with him.
Yes, he does.
We happen to just meet up at this place on New York Street. It's a big yoga room, and I'm like, Pat? And like, we both take yoga. Yeah. Yoga's one of the greatest things you can take.
Not to talk down about any of my other mentors or coaches. I've had great coaches through wrestling. I have a great jiu-jitsu coach that taught me everything I know how to even had to teach James Klingerman. But Coach Pat was the first guy that ran a practice similar to how I'd imagine a practice, where everything's professional. We go right on time. Even then, and then using stuff like breath work, meditation,
yes,
cold baths and showers, how to properly rehydrate, how to cut weight properly. He knows all these things. He's that experienced. But yeah, doing crazy shit, being as crazy as I am, taking the cold showers, putting yourself in a 190-degree sauna for however long. He does that. So I'm going to do that, or I need to do that. And other people think that like I'm crazy.
Well, if they're on the outside looking in, I mean, I wouldn't even say that I've gone to the lengths that you've gone to, but I've been around that environment, so I know a little bit about how that goes. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've watched fighters get ready for the big fight. I was in Sacramento, and that was when Uriah Faber was going to fight. He was going to fight Jans Pulver, and I remember like he was doing some business meeting, whatever. So his the guy who was going to hit pads with, his coach, boxing coach, was like, he saw me hitting the bag. He goes, hey, come on! And so we're hitting bags, and I swear to God, mid punch, he goes, I got to train Faber, and he left me mid punch. He left me. I was like
priorities.
He was, because Uriah Faber came and goes, got to train Faber, and he left me. I go, okay, but so I understand. I know what that's like. I've been around that. So yeah, man, people don't realize when they say they work hard, you guys work hard. Like you're tired, and you get that one drill where you're in the ring, and then they send another guy in, a fresh guy in.
Yeah,
and you got
Shark Tank drills. Yeah.
Oh my God, the Shark Tank that'll make a man out of you.
Yeah,
that'll make a man out of you.
In years of wrestling, or even just doing that with sprints. Like Tabata sprints, or just anything to get the heart rate up. Like when I tell people like, oh yeah, I got my heart rate up to like almost 200. They're like, and you didn't die? Like that kind of thing. But even then, like, how it is to get punched in the face. Regular people don't get punched in the face on a daily basis.
And I think
they probably should, because
you know what, they probably should. Yes, because a lot of people talk a lot of shit.
It would put down some egos.
You know what? It would. I mean, granted, we'd go to jail, but still, I think I'd take that. You know what they should? They should do? Incorporate the instigator rule, like in hockey, right? Because people talk a lot of shit, and sometimes on a bad day, you go, you know what, fuck it, and you hit somebody, and you go to jail. I think that's bullshit. I think if the person who provoked you, I think they should go to jail too. Yeah. Either you both go or nobody goes, because they can make you go. What if I was here and just talking shit about your mom, right, or whatever? Talk, yeah, your family ain't shit, and you be like, and you just fucking punch me. I go, officer, and you go to jail. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Either we both go or nobody goes.
See, but I feel that. I agree with that a lot, but at the same time, a lot of that I've maybe been trying to work on this, is not letting words hurt you.
Listen,
and but again, motherfuckers do deserve to get smacked up.
That's
if they say it to your face.
That's some first and second grade shit you say to kids so boys don't hit girls. You know what I mean? Yeah. It really is. It's like, hey, 6 inch stones, you break your bone. You get older, 6 stones my ass. This motherfucker talks shit about my mom.
That's true.
And I ain't gonna fucking tighten his ass up. You must be.
But you see a lot of UFC fighters. Like guys will like Conor McGregor effect, right? Like he talks so much shit, like Jose Aldo got in his head. Next thing you know, Jose Aldo acts out of character in the cage and gets knocked out in a few seconds.
Now, but that's different though. That's two dudes who are doing it. That's I'm talking like just on the street. But that's two dudes who are in that environment and they know. Aldo should have known. But I'm just talking like if you're on the street and some dude just like, hey man, your mom, and then you're like
someone that you just like, you could be out with, someone at a dinner and just some random dude comes up to you. That guy does deserve to get slapped up.
And he should get slapped up. And it should, and the cops come, what happened? They go, man, he was talking shit. And they go, you know what? You're right. You're right.
Yes.
And they drop it.
Yeah.
That's what should happen. The instigator rule. I think I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. If you try to pass the instigator rule, I'll vote for you. How about that? Yeah.
You got my vote.
The instigator rule. I mean, it comes from hockey, man. Hockey's a great sport also.
Hockey, dude, those guys are savages.
You ever played hockey before?
I've never played hockey, and I don't watch it too much, but I can appreciate when I do watch it.
I played road hockey when I was in LA, and I loved it, man. And one game I just lost my shit, and that happened. And let me tell you something, man. That's the great thing about hockey. It's a man sport, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, like they drop the sticks and hey, let's get it on.
How
great is that? Like, hey, you want to go? Yeah. And they throw them gloves down like, oh, here we go. You can't tell me that the fans don't get energized from that. A fight that breaks out.
I do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know why the NFL and NBA don't let that happen. I mean, let those dudes fight.
That would be
Especially NBA. Here's the rule. If you guys want to fight, you can fight. But nobody from the bench jump in like little bitches. Yeah, like just you and mano, right? Y'all want to go? You go.
Yep.
But you got to sit in the penalty box. I think that'd be great. If basketball had a penalty box, let's see how tough those guys are then. I would love to see that.
It's funny, we see that happen in the gym sometimes where guys get a little too it. Yeah, they lose a little bit and they're like, all right, let's go. And then coach is like, all right, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead and fight. And then once that happens, they're like, oh, I didn't really mean it. It's like, dude, if you're gonna get mad in sparring, you might as well just go at it.
You're already in a fight. You're already in a fight. Or you get mad because you're in a fight. What are you gonna do? Fight some more?
Right. It's silly, man. But like, I find funny watching NFL games and guys want to fight, and then they punch each other with the helmets on.
Exactly.
You're gonna break your hand. You're gonna break your hand.
Break your hand. That's stupid. I want to see those dudes fight, but just take the helmet off and like this, stop the game and let them two guys go at it.
Yeah.
Take the
helmet
helmets off.
And then see if they actually do it too.
See if they actually do it. I mean, the thing about it, when something gets too much money or the sport, that's when they smooth it out. Mm-hmm. It can't have that little rough around the edges like it used to be. Yeah. Watch some old film clips from the 70s, like what Mel Blount used to do as a defensive back. Back in the 70s, he was like 200 pounds as a cornerback. He used to demolish people. Watch those days. Back in those days, when they had fights and a helmet would come off and they'd still be uppercutting dudes.
Yeah.
I want to see that, man. I want to see like, okay, you guys want to fight? Boom. Have them fight for like, I don't know, a minute or whatever till somebody hits the ground. Like in hockey. Somebody hits the ground and fight's over.
Yeah.
Do that, man. Bring that rule back. I guarantee the NFL can get more people that way.
It's funny because the NFL's already brutal enough. Why not?
Why not? If you guys think you're really tough guys, okay, let's see how much tough guys you really are.
Well, I think, that's why I think it's so important that people choose to wrestle growing up.
What? Now, why
because
did you choose
wrestling's like controlled. It's like controlled fighting or controlled violence, but within a school.
Wrestling is the greatest thing.
You know how many times I walked out of a wrestling tournament with my eye completely closed?
Yeah.
And it looked like I just got done out of a boxing match.
Yeah, I mean, I know that wrestling saved my life.
Bruises all over. Dude,
the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
the greatest thing. I mean, honestly, but I think every man. And even women to some extent, because women talk a lot. Women definitely need to instigate a rule. They talk a lot of shit without having any repercussions.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? If there was a chance,
they have egos too.
If they had a chance to go to jail or getting popped, like, hey, that was bad. No, she was talking shit. Okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I know it sounds bad, but I'm just saying,
women's wrestling's growing. It's growing a lot, and fighting in general. Yeah,
but I think. When you are in like a combat sport or like wrestling is a combat sport and you get your ass kicked or you go through a tough wrestling match, man, let me tell you something. You're in a relaxed place after that.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should have that.
I agree. I mean, it's funny how many people that I meet and they're like, or even just other MMA fighters or other fighters that carry themselves as they should.
Yes.
You get a lot of crazy ones, but most times you meet guys, martial artists, and you're like, wow, that guy's really nice or very genuine and calm.
Yeah.
Most people think we're very macho and or dumb and meatheads, which we are in a lot of ways. But man, like I find most guys, they're just relaxed because they don't have much to prove, I guess. Or when you get beat up on a daily basis like we do, it's hard to be that guy that's so full of ego and I'm the baddest guy on the planet. There's times and place for that.
Yes.
But it's really hard to be like that when you are getting humbled each day.
Well, that's what you learn like from the streets or wherever. Like if somebody starts talking loud with you, okay, this guy can't fight. Or
there's always someone out there that is better than you, I guess. It
always is. And that's kind of gym you want to be at where you're not the best. You want to be at a gym where you constantly getting your ass kicked.
Exactly.
Like you said, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So you step out in that cage, you go, man, this dude is nothing because I had to deal with this killer every day.
Right.
This dude was whooping my ass every day. So this dude is nothing to me.
That's something I would almost like repeat in my head before my last fight or even before other fights is this guy's nothing like the guys I train with.
How do you get ready for
it adds confidence.
I saw you get ready for your first professional fight, okay? And I saw you, and I'm trying to look and see if I could see those little cracks where you're nervous, but only I could see. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it looks confident to the people, but I'm going, this motherfucker about to shit on himself. Like so.
But is it a front? Right?
Yeah, is it a front? So like where were you mentally doing before your first fight?
Before my first fight, so it's been a learning process of how to deal with that anxiety, that performance anxiety, and even in college, I struggled a lot with it. But what I've come down to is that if you first have you put in the work that you are very comfortable and truthful with yourself with, because that'll come into your mind is, oh, I didn't do this enough, or maybe I didn't run enough miles, or, I didn't eat the right foods leading up to this. That can play a part. And so I feel like if you put yourself into uncomfortable situations, you make yourself, like doing the cold showers, make yourself do the sucky stuff before anyone else can put that on you. So like put yourself under stressful situations before life does, or anyone else can do it.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it's not like I put myself through way more than this person ever could. That's a confidence booster. And then having a good corner or a good team.
Right.
So man, before a fight, it's chill. Like even before my last fight, we're backstage, we're about to walk out, and we're listening to Spanish music, and I'm almost kind of like dancing. I'm in a flow. You want to find that flow state.
You want to get that perfect mental state.
Yeah,
That's the key to everything in life is a perfect mental state. But I always want to know how, because every fighter's different. Like Dan Henderson would be like damn near in a comatose state. Like, are you all right, man? Yeah. And some fighters like look at the stage style bender. He's dancing and everything. Yeah. So everybody's different.
Some guys got to slap themselves.
Yes. Yeah. I always want to know so where are you at mentally?
I'm more just trying to be as present and comfortable as I can. And I almost have a mantra to myself. And this one before my last fight was just calm and composed, or calm and focused. That way, and as every moment I'm stepping into the cage, calm and focus, calm and focus, calm and focus. Because then it becomes the only thing that you're thinking about. And it's not any other bullshit, I guess. Yeah. And it's something that a lot of it plays into one. The work you put in, the group behind you.
Always.
I've been around so many guys where I've coached, I've been in guys' corners for fights, for amateur fights. And you can see a big difference between those guys are amateurs in the way they carry themselves, and then you see guys that are like, those guys are professionals.
Like how? In what way?
Just like how they warm up, how they're acting backstage. I've been around shows where there's guys in the back doing one arm push-ups into the ground, and they're doing all this fancy stuff and hitting pads and getting warmed up like 2 hours before the fight starts. It's like you need to get warmed up like that for that long, and it's like it just on some sideways Bob shit, to be honest, where it's clear, whereas other coaches, you see they're calm, they're collected, they're hanging out, they're not, we play chess or stuff like that before fights. Yeah. There's a lot of time to kill. Like we had to be there at 5:00 and you don't fight till 10.
Oh my God.
And you have to stay there the whole time. So you got a lot of time to kill. You got a lot of time to think about. And that's the thing you don't want to think, I think, is the best thing. You want to be in the flow. You don't want to, because, everything in our imagination is worse than what real life is.
Reality is, yes.
Than reality, yes. Yeah. So if you're constantly thinking of what could go wrong in the fight, it probably will.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like just hanging out with the people you love and enjoy being around, you're just in the moment. You're not thinking. And that's what I found has been helpful. Whereas before I would listen to heavy metal music, I feel like I'd have to get myself really amped up and that's the thing, meeting Coach Pat, he'd be like, calm down. I want your heart rate as low as it can until it's time to get ready. And I find that to be super beneficial. So now I'm calm. I got calm music, just doing calm things, playing crossword puzzles, just trying to kill time.
It's basically like a wrestling tournament, but you only have one match.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's like that.
And the nice thing is you can make weight the day before and get nice and fat and then be ready on the day of, nice full stomach.
Okay, so what's the point where you cut off eating until the fight starts, like the day of? Like
I like to go in hungry. Yeah, so if I'm fighting at like 10, I probably stop eating around same thing, like around 5 or even before that, maybe like 3.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
And what do you eat? Like what do you eat?
I like breakfast a lot. So, like eggs, sausage, bacon.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I love that. Yeah. Maybe some avocado.
Oh, avocado's good. Good for your heart.
I love avocado. Okay. Like good fats.
Okay. Like avocado toast?
No, I don't want to do much toast. Although we did go and have like a good breakfast. I had like a waffle the day of, big waffle with some eggs and bacon.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Yeah. Why? What do you usually consume before you go work out hard or compete?
Well, that's different because you do that now. I'm just an amateur. So, I mean, as far as
but come on, you work hard, man. You do a lot of things with your body that require a lot of aerobic exercise.
I do, and it's
like and energy.
Yeah, and it's still a test to me. I still like I experiment with eating before a long cycling thing, okay, can I eat a lot because I'm different because I'm cycling, so I burn a lot of calories, so it's not going to be as bad as what you do where you have to move around and your stomach's like that. So I think but I don't eat that much. At the most, I might have a like my favorite breakfast sandwich in the whole world is that Starbucks Impossible breakfast sandwich. Oh my God, dude, that's the great. And I think I've had one before I cycled. And that's fine because I don't. And it depends if I'm doing sprints or whatever. But if I'm not doing that, I have the little gels, or I have like that little cookie, and I have that while I'm cycling, and that helps with the drink. I make my own little drinks, whatever. Put like a squeeze of lime. I found lime helps. I squeeze the lime, and I have like maybe a mix where it's like it's supposed to be good for my wind, and so my endurance, that is. So I have some of that. So it's a constant experiment with me. Also, it's like I want to see. Where I hit the wall at. Like, I hit the wall different in the gym now than I do before, that I've ever done before. Yeah. There's a time now I hit the gym, I hit the wall, I go, okay, it's done. And I know it's done. And no matter what I do physically, if I go, I'm done, then I'm done. But I never say, this is the last one, because I know that's where you get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned, you go, okay, I'm going to do one more time, and that's when people get hurt. Because when I ride motocross, which is stupid, but I ride motocross at this age, and I go, I don't say it's my last one. I go, you know what, I'm gonna ride, and then when I feel like it, I'll pull off. I say that because I know what you say in the air, the universe.
You want to manifest that stuff.
I remember because I wanted to wrestle in college so bad. I mean, I really did. Now that was the whole goal. And in high school, I had a really, really tough wrestling practice. We had a water break, and I go, man, you know what? I don't want to wrestle in college. I remember, and I said that, and I went in, and it wasn't 15 minutes later, and I messed my knee up, and I was out for half the season. Wow. So I learned back then. That was before the internet. That's how long back I go. Don't say that. Don't say that. But that was before the internet, and for all the stuff with YouTube and the books and everything. And I learned from that. Watch what you speak. And watch what you put out there, because the universe listens. So it's always a constant experiment, but also it's also the tongue. Watch what you say. Yeah. You know what I mean? Talk yourself into it, but also be careful how you say whatever you say. And so what you put in your body and all that was cliche back in the day, it's kind of true.
I agree.
That's why I can't believe you eat all that shit before you on the
eat
day.
Eat that shit. That's good stuff for you, man. All sausage. That fats and protein. And...
Yeah, but you can do it though. You're 28 though. So you can do it. You got that,
I'm eating steak and eggs every day, buddy.
I know you got that 19-year-old body. You like 28, got that 19-year-old body. It's shit. I'm so jealous of you. I hate you. Everything I gain, it's like I get all bloated.
No, man, but just like you were saying, it's you should treat your body like an experiment. You should really figure out what really works for you. I played a lot with, cutting weight. That was a big thing. If I had to think of how I cut weight in high school, I would cringe at myself now. Because of course so. I was like, you were killing yourself, dude.
Exactly. But you know what? But to me, that's how life is. You got to experiment with. You got to find out what works for you, and how you do that is by experimenting. Yeah. I mean, you have to take that walk. Like, okay, this didn't work for me, obviously, and so that's why I look back now, and I want so bad to look at athletes, how we want to condemn pro athletes and this and that. And I go, really? They're 21, 22, and they're multimillionaires. Yeah, give this guy a break. Yeah. When I have $20 in my pocket now, I act a fool. You know what I mean? Yeah. If it's payday, I'm like, oh, I'm a dickhead. Yeah. You know what I mean? So ease up on those guys and just, but experiment with yourself, but in a good way.
Yes.
Like, okay, this ain't working for me, but this does work for me.
Yeah, and you got to living and learning. And if you're not learning, it's
you always learn. I'm learning every day. I learn something new, and that's the truth. Every day, and I think that's the way you should be. You should be constantly looking for knowledge in everything in life, not just in your profession, not just in food. But I think through what you're doing, you learn about food. You learn how it reacts to your body. You learn what to put in your body. Like, oh, I thought this fruit was good for me, but it's not because that's too much fructose in it. Or avocados. I have a different energy level with that. Yeah. And I learned from, like, I used to consume energy drinks all the time. But I learned that the crash from energy drink is actually worse.
Yeah.
Like you might be tired. Now, even to this day, though, if I need a quick boom, I'll get a quick, maybe like a little Red Bull, and I'm good. Right? It's like a bump of cocaine. It's like you take a Red Bull, and you're good. But I know the crash is coming. But it's cool. I can navigate that. But back in the day, before I knew that, I would do that, and I'd be like lethargic for 2 days after. I go, why am I? And it all goes back down to your diet.
Yeah.
And I was like, boom. And I go, it's those energy drinks, and they would make me lethargic, and that's where I learned wean myself off of that. No more. I mean, that first day is gonna be a lot of headaches, but after that, you're better off going with water.
Yep.
You're better off going with water.
That's why I got my water bottle right next to
me.
me.
Look at you, man. You're like a camel.
Everything goes everywhere with me.
I know, but the first time I met you, you had one of those.
Yeah. If that thing's not with me, there's something going on. I might be anxious or something.
Man, I love about you, and honestly, this is what I love. What got me right here is your relationship with your father.
Dude, my best friend in the whole world.
Dude, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. That's what made me go, wow, because you guys roll together with jiu-jitsu.
Yes, we do.
And he's a brown belt?
He's a brown belt, yeah.
And so
he should be a black belt.
That touched me right here because me and my dad, we were good. And then we had a little break. I mean, a little tension there, which is my fault. And then, man, we connected when we start walking together. Like my dad speed walked.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I remember the day before he did it, my brother goes, hey, man, his last words to me, hey, daddy can go. And he hung the phone up. I go, okay. We did 5 miles in 37 minutes.
Wow.
Walking.
That's awesome.
Walking. And my dad's heyday, I go, okay. And I've always been like, and my dad, this is back in the day. I don't know, your dad might be the same way. My dad was always a tough love kind of dude. Where you take anybody else now in this pussy ass world now, you say it and they go, what? But I remember my dad told me, he goes, I was getting undressed to go take a bath, and he goes, you look disgusting. I remember he said it because I was fat back then. I was fat. And he goes, you look, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to show you, motherfucker. And that's what it takes. It's always stuck in my head. And now I try to stay in shape, and he always like, yeah. And I go, my brother's a fat ass now, right? And so supposedly he's losing weight. Now my dad's in bad shape kind of now. But my brother is supposed to be, he and his wife are doing this like no meat month, whatever. And so he's supposed to be losing weight.
I feel bad for them.
So I told my dad, I said, how's my brother look? He goes, oh, he's still fat. He goes, don't tell him I said that. So tell me that relationship with your dad. Was it always like that?
So I wouldn't say he was the tough love kind of guy. More just always, we were always best friends. Like that kind of started, like grew up, my fondest memories watching Dragon Ball Z together.
Really?
And that's kind of like the seeds that have been sown of wanting me to like maybe shaping me into a martial artist. Was wanting to be like Goku, wanting to be that Super Saiyan, reach that Super Saiyan level. I don't know if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z at all, but
no, but
huge nerd.
No, man, nothing wrong with that.
But man, and he was, to be honest, if me fighting doesn't happen without him, because I grew up watching wrestling, like WWE.
Yeah.
And I thought it was real, and just being just a stupid kid, And my dad would be like, "Tiger, that's not real. Like it's all fake. It's all scripted. Blah blah blah." And I just like, and he'd watch it with me though. But then he came across the UFC, and I don't know how he came across it. He was just always kind of into boxing, into martial arts movies, loves like movies like Bloodsport and stuff like that. And I would just sit down and watch UFC with him. And then I finally put it together like, oh yeah, WWE is bullshit. Yeah. And then I'd watch UFC with him, and we'd just love watching UFC together. And next thing we know, we're buying gloves and we're sparring, even though we don't know shit on how to fight. We're sparring in our living room, and he's beating me up, and I'm trying to beat him up, and we had that kind of relationship too, where close that we can just beat each other up for the fun of it. And
I love it.
And my mom, thankfully, was cool with that too.
Yeah.
And there would always be times like, you're gonna make him cry, and he'd be like, no, I'm not. And eventually, I'd end up crying because he'd go a little too hard or something.
Of course.
But then we finally were like, it took the movie Never Back Down. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yes.
Never Back Down is what changed. I was like, oh, I saw that movie and I was like, I want to learn how to do that. Like, I really want to learn. And we signed up for jiu-jitsu the next day.
Together.
That
is beautiful.
Yeah. Indiana Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy, James Klingerman. I blessed to have grown up underneath him for as long as, and I'll get my black belt. We'll both get our black belts from him.
Oh, but dude, that is, man, honestly, that's what I love. I mean, the old school cats or whatever who are really just stuck in their way of thinking. These kids today want to be buddies, parents want to be buddies with their kids. And I go, man, fuck that. I love that.
I agree.
I think it's great because, when your best friend is your parent, dude, I love, because, growing up, the way I did, it was like, hey, he's the dad and I'm the kid and you listen to all right, gotcha. And now that barrier's down and we're like this, and I love it.
And the thing, he was a dad first, you know.
Of course, you have to be.
And I think that's the important thing now with kids is parents want to be friends with their kids before they are parents with their kids. And you have to understand there's a time when you can be friends with each other. And that's something I have with my parents now, is that we're best friends. Like,
I love it.
And, you know, and I'm very blessed to have their support and everything I do. But yeah, and now we get to roll with each other, and I have a healthy dad. That was the biggest thing. Like, my dad was pre-diabetic before we found jiu-jitsu.
Oh, I love hearing that.
And now he weighs like 180 pounds. He's in great shape. He can roll with anyone, and he could he could smash any 20-year-old that like walks in the gym. You know?
I saw the videos of you and him rolling. Your dad can go, bro.
He can go.
I mean, he really can't. But I was loving it, going, man, that's how it should be.
And we can play spar together. Like, not many guys my age can be like, oh yeah, me and my dad sparred like 10 rounds today. You know, that's what touched my heart more than anything is watching you and your dad, that relationship. That's the way it should be, man. I agree.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so, you know, fuck all this stuff about beating the kids. I love that you and your dad are like this. You spent the birthday together. You went to the Ohio State game together.
Yeah.
Dude, all that, man, that's what it's about, because when it's all said and done with, and it sounds like a joke, but it's like that Saturday Night Live skit about Fast and Furious. It's all about family. And that's what it is. It's all about family, because when it's all said and done with and your career's over or whatever, you're gonna look back and go, man, me and my dad did that together, bro.
Yeah. And you know, hopefully I'll be blessed enough to have that relationship with one of my kids one day.
You got a kid
and
now?
I can spread that. I don't.
Oh,
I
sure?
don't. One day.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
You're
I'm
a good-looking kid, man. Hey, I've been to college. I know how it works.
but no. But you know, I really hope that, and it's cool that we can see it throughout our years, because I started when I was 13, so we're 15 years into this whole journey together. Wow. And it's cool to see that we've inspired other father sons to do it. Like, now we see other guys that we've grown up with doing jiu-jitsu, and they're doing it with their dads, and it's cool, you know, to see that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I just love the fact that your dad was unhealthy before and now he's in great shape.
Dude.
And they see what just good physical shape does for you, man.
I'm trying to get my mom to understand that, but you know.
You think she'd like to do that someday?
No. I'm just trying to get her to understand to be healthier. And it has, you know, watching, I think it's a profound effect to watch someone that's doing all the right things. Kind of like if you want to be the best, right, at something.
Yes.
What are the best doing? You should mimic that.
Yes.
And it's kind of that same way with my family, or at least, you know, leading by example is what I try to do with what I do is, and you know, same thing like you were saying before, you know, say less and do more.
Yeah.
And I think that's powerful. So yeah, you know, if I'm living a healthy lifestyle, most likely the people I'm living with are going to be healthy, or going to try and live healthier. Like, oh, I see he's, you know, doing this, taking cold showers, or eating, you know, a good diet. Maybe I should do that, and maybe I'll feel better about my life.
Yes.
Or, you know, I'll feel better each day. Stuff like that. And, you know, because of me wrestling throughout high school and college, my dad picked up wrestling. So like he never got to wrestle in high school, but he would start wrestling at the jiu-jitsu gym that we grew up at. And now he can wrestle. Like, and he could take down most people if he had to, you know? And that's awesome. And he made that happen for himself.
That's beautiful. And that just showed that's a great example for you. Like, you set that cornerstone for the most part, that foundation, and you can look at that. So like you said, when you have a kid, and who knows, you know, hopefully you let your kid find their way, like your dad let you find your way, and they want to take in your footsteps, and then you guys can roll. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful, like a healthy foundation that I wish more people would do. I think it would be I think we could fix that what's wrong with families nowadays through stuff like sport.
I agree.
If families just do little stuff like walk outside, just a walk outside together. Walk on a trail together. Just get out in nature. Anytime you get outside, that's nature.
Yeah.
You know, you ain't got to roll, you ain't got to punch somebody, but just get outside, walk, talk, get away from the TV. Just talk as a family.
Yeah.
Be
present.
Be present, man. Being present is everything in life. I read a book about that, and I thought it was going to be boring, and I thought it was. But I said, I'm going to finish this book. But I keep coming back to that book going, just if you're present, and it sounds so easy and simple, but if you're present where you're at, like right now, us being here and being engaged, listening to you, it's the greatest thing in the world, because I'm finding, like I said beforehand, when you find out about somebody, it's like, I love that.
Yeah.
And hopefully somebody will see it. And I know it sounds corny, but I'm a corny motherfucker. Is it like, like maybe somebody's watching and going, hey, Dad, you want to go for a walk? And that's how my dad got close from walking. There's just little things like that. I wish people would, can get you, man, get away from all the drugs and all that bad shit and just come together as a family, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's be the greatest thing in the world.
I agree, man. And it made me stick with it. I think if that's another thing, like, for my dad to stick with it too, it really helped each other. And then it got to the point, like, I started in the kids class and my dad would do the adults class. So then I would do the kids class and I'd watch him go through the adults class. And then it got cool where we both stick with it. And then I'm doing the adults class with him. And then we're able to drill together and then it grows and grows. And props to him as much as to me. If he probably bows out of doing it, then I probably would have. Yeah. So for him to stick with it, it made me stick with it.
You guys push each other.
And then the next thing I know, I'm surrounded by good people. I don't know if you know, like, the quote of, like, you are the product of the 5 most people closest to you, or like the people that you spend the most time with you'll become the product of that. So if you're around nothing but badass motherfuckers, most likely you're going to become a badass motherfucker. Well, yeah. If you're around guys that are just, doing nothing all day on computers, playing video games, like, you're going to do that all day.
And what I learned from my wrestling coach is if you want to do something, accomplish something, and the people around you are a bad influence, you got to get away from them. And
exactly.
sometimes it's hard for people to
break that cycle.
You got to get away from them. I had a buddy, I loved him on my team, but I wanted to do something else. I wanted to get someplace in life, and he didn't. And I had to eventually kind of eventually you kind of phase him out of your life.
Create that barrier, yeah.
And get around the people that are going to get you to where you want to get to. Yeah.
And because of that, because I was around these great people at this jiu-jitsu academy, that's how I got into wrestling. Because one of the MMA fighters, Dan Head, talked me into wrestling as a kid. And I was a very reserved kid. I was, kind of shy, I would say. And starting new things was hard for me. So when he told me, hey, you should go out for the wrestling team, and I was about to go into high school and start as a freshman, and he's like, you should join the wrestling team. And I was like, I kind of like just doing jiu-jitsu. I might just stick with doing jiu-jitsu. And he's like, and I looked up to this guy, and he's like, look, if you don't do wrestling, I will never talk to you again.
God damn.
And most likely he's probably joking, right?
Right.
But to me, and I think he could tell that I looked up to him and how much his words meant to me, is that I didn't want that. So I was like, all right, I'll go out for the wrestling team. Changed my life.
Because I honestly, if you had the background with jiu-jitsu and you get into wrestling, you're almost unstoppable in the sense of, okay, I'm on my back, I'm not freaking out. Obviously, you don't want to get pinned, but if you stay off that back, I mean, you're going to get, surrender some back points, but still, you're not going to be as freaked out as if you normally would have.
Yeah.
If you were just a straight wrestler who didn't do jiu-jitsu and vice versa.
Yeah.
So you become almost unstoppable.
Oh, dude, you bring wrestlers into jiu-jitsu class and they're like, they don't know what to do on their back.
Yeah, they're like,
it's a whole new foreign thing to them.
Oh, my back.
They're like, what do you mean I can do things with my legs to people?
Just relax, bro.
Yeah,
and work it.
There's those spaz.
Yes, those two are kissing.
That
cousins.
white belt energy. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's always good. It's like, dude, relax.
White belt. You know why? Because I had that.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah.
And then you go with a black belt and he chokes you out in 10 seconds because you're being a spaz, and he's got to be like, hey, man, here's how you relax.
Let me tell you something. I was in the Bahamas with this other comedian. His name is Colin Moulton. I give Colin credit. He's the one that got me into jiu-jitsu. So it's a regular gym, and it's a stretching area. It's got mats. He goes, let's do some jiu-jitsu. That's it. Whatever it is, okay, whatever. I didn't know what it was. I just know I used to wrestle. I'll take this guy. And he kept getting me and I got so mad. Like I had my mouth, I got so mad. I mean, you understand? Girls are on their fucking elliptical. And people were working out. It's just a little mat area. And he kept beating me. And finally I go, God damn it. And I threw my mouthpiece, and girls were like, the fuck is this black guy's freaking out.
Yeah.
I'm like, and Colin was like, BT, God damn, I was so upset. So you said white belt energy. I know exactly what you're talking about. But it's the greatest thing in the world, man, is that just, you learn to mentally, you learn the game, and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna get pinned, and let's figure. It's like you said, chess.
Yeah.
It's like chess. Like, for me, wrestling is checkers, but jiu-jitsu is chess. Because checkers, pop, 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 right? Which is wrestling. Boom, pin, boom. Where jiu-jitsu, okay, I'm here. It's okay. I'll come out of it and move my king here. I'll come out. Okay, what's my next move? He's going to go here, so I'll go here. Boom. It's like, it's chess.
Very well put. Very well put.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's chess and checkers.
And that's the thing, like, what I liked about doing both of them was that jiu-jitsu was more laid back. It was more chill, and it was friendlier. Like, you go into a jiu-jitsu environment, everyone's friendly, everyone's hugs. You got guys that are, sitting in a circle before practice starts and they're talking. And not that you don't have that with wrestling, but wrestling was just, and that's what I loved about the duality of both, is that you had the chillness with jiu-jitsu, the gracefulness of jiu-jitsu, but then wrestling was just hard nose, just balls to the wall. I want to eat your head off kind of energy.
Yeah. I mean, but I like that though.
Yeah,
so if you're pulling weight and you're in a bad mood, and you come in a bad mood, like, hey, let me hit my knee pad. No, give me my knee pad. Are you a fight before practice? Like, all right, guys, whatever. Or you get in a fight and coaches sit there like, all right, you guys fight. Yeah. And that, you'll have that kind of energy, and it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, like, it sounds bad if you're not from that environment and you're watching and you're like kind of a pussy how the world is now in some instances, you go, oh my God. But hey, man, that's not bad to settle things physically in the right environment. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Now, who are you guys other than your dad that you look up to now, say in MMA, that you want to emulate or you try to emulate?
Easy, big ones. So GSP. George St. Pierre.
Oh, the greatest ever.
The number GOAT. One guy in my mind that I want to resemble. Another one was Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar was huge.
You worked with Frankie. You worked out with Frankie.
Yeah, that was huge for me. To get to roll with Frankie. And to meet him and now I have like a contact with him, and man, it's just, I don't really have words still for it. That I got the opportunity to do that, because this is a guy I grew up watching and watching him go through wars with guys and again, great wrestler all around and a great person. Yes. And then just, those are the guys I want to resemble, that carry themselves well, that are all around good, striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. They know it all. That's and then I'm trying to think of who else, like Alexander Volkanovski. That's another guy right now.
Man, let me tell you something. That dude is a beast who I think now people are looking at him a little different now.
After the Islam fight.
After the Islam fight, looking at him like that dude, man, like we thought Islam was going to take him to the ground and that would be over. And I still thought Islam beat him. People are going, no, I still thought he beat him. And we don't give Islam credit because we thought Volkov was going to tear him up on the feet. And Islam said, you know what?
He showed out on the feet.
He did. Islam showed. People talking about how Islam didn't dominate him on the mat, but no one talks about how Islam stood 10 toes down with him, like going pow, pow, pow. I remember that one time he was like, Volkov was like, okay, that was a good hit.
They both slept on each other's strengths.
I thought that was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
And that's what you want to see from the two of the best in the world. Right?
How great is that? And those, and again, that's a chess match. Because man, at that level, I gotta tell you that little mistake that maybe maybe throw a lazy jab out and they come over. Oh shit!
Yeah,
you see that little things, man. Like a perfect example. See the fight Saturday. You see the fight Saturday?
Yes, I did.
When my girl. When she
Valentina?
did that kick, when she did that kick, and she was off balance, and that's all it took. Man, I almost wanted to cry.
Dude.
I really did. I go, oh, come on.
Yeah.
I felt so bad. That's my girl.
I literally thought there was no way Grasso beats her. That's why I was just like everyone else on the Valentina train. And I love Valentina. But dude, and the fan in me though, when I see that happen, like Grasso win, that brings tears to my eyes to see her achieve her dream.
Yes.
Especially against someone that no one thought you could beat.
Yes.
Like when Leon Edwards beat Usman, that I had tears in my eyes watching him win, because I know that feeling of just like going against all odds. I mean, not on that level, he's the champion of the world, but man, like you just feel it. You just feel that genuine of like, wow.
A dream is achieved.
Yeah.
When you set that goal and I had my motorcycle helmet on, was walking out the door. I go, this fight's over. And I go, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
And again, it was that little bump. Just that little, he went right where you're supposed to.
Throw
He did
the two, disguise the kick.
Boom! And I was like, "Are you fucking?" And Valentina, that almost made me cry. She's another person that people think is a spy, just like Nikolai. Another person that people think is a spy. That
I think she's a spy.
Hey, if so, I mean, hey, you know,
hey, no hate against her. She's doing it well.
Any girl that has a fucking tattoo of a gun,
right?
Hey,
dude, she's a savage,
dude. I mean, on a street fight, man, I would not want to mess with her.
Yeah.
I mean, if she, I wouldn't want to see her in the daytime.
She's always got something on her, right?
Always. I mean,
see, that's another thing in the streets. You ain't catching me fighting because I'm not beating no gun.
You never beat a gun. And every tough guy says, "Hey, run."
Yeah.
Navy SEAL friend
Jocko
said, "Run, just run, man.
Yeah.
Let that dude, whatever, run."
Dude, ego is a killer.
Ego's the kid, man. I ain't got no ego. I'm like, hey, I know where I'm at now in my life. I mean, every now and then, I go, if this motherfucker says something,
we all got some ego,
but
man.
that's every now and then. For the most part, I'm like, hey, man, blah, blah, blah. And everything. And usually people, no one really, does that. But when they do, it's like, that's why I think, honestly, I really think, I wish another thing would come into law where it's mandatory for especially every African American to take meditation and yoga. So if somebody, pushes you mentally and to the point you want to fight, you just go,
take a deep breath.
And then and you walk away.
You're like, let me center myself real quick.
Because we're very excitable people.
Yeah.
I mean, you see, it's like that's why magicians love us. We do a magic trick like, oh, this motherfucker with the rabbit. Oh shit, you know what I mean?
I'm gullible as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. But in reality, on the streets, that shit don't bode well. You get put over by a cop, like, why the fuck you put me in? It's like, I'm gonna shoot this guy. But if you go, hi, officer. Was I going too fast in the school zone? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Namaste. You know what I mean? I think it'd be better that way. I really think there should be a time we should have meditation in schools.
I agree.
Especially in bad schools. Meditation, and it centers the kid. And maybe those kids who are bad kids, or so-called labeled bad kids, won't be as bad anymore. If you have meditation before, maybe at recess, maybe just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes. And I like to see an experiment like that.
Yeah. So would I. I mean, I find meditation to be crazy helpful. And same thing with doing yoga. Like we just started a yoga class on Saturdays at the gym. And man, just after a hard practice, putting your body through a nice long stretch, it's huge. And then you just feel so loose afterwards.
It's
like
the greatest
you just
thing.
feel one with yourself, right?
It sounds like some, hey man, what do you guys say? You guys hippies, man? But it's the truth though. I mean, it centers you, relaxes the mind and the body.
Yeah.
And if you can just let your whole body, if you can relax, it sounds weird, but sometimes you think you're relaxed, but you're not. And if you're present, you go, oh, I got some tension here. Mm-hmm. And you let it go. And you almost feel yourself getting a little more flexible because you go, okay, like tension's up in here, and you let it down. And it's like, okay, and you're getting more, I don't know, it's just more into the earth. Let your body sink, and it's the greatest shit in the world, man.
It's like same thing like we were talking about, getting to know your body. Yeah. And like what works for your body, what you put into your body, and how that affects you. It's the same thing with like getting to know your mind. I feel like a lot of people we just react off of emotions, where we don't take time to think like, wait a minute, why do I feel this way? Just that quick second of like, why did that just piss me off? And then just being like, okay, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe I should calm the fuck down real quick.
That is so, no, man.
And that's where that breath is huge.
Breathing. People don't realize, man, what you said, breath work, breathing, I think is 90% of it. Because, man, I've had, I ride my motorcycle everywhere. There's 90% of the time where, if you're on a motorcycle, you're always playing defensive. And I remember one time this car, and it's happened like this, but I was in Italy, and I remember this car just came over right here, and I just go, and I think it was from the yoga and meditation. I went, okay, this guy just cut me off. I mean, I'm talking like boom, to where the front tire touched it, I'm dead, I'm gone. And so all I did was went over this, and this car's right next to me, and I went between where the stripe is, and I was between both cars, and it was about this much space. But I was calm. Yeah. And it happened like that. But I was like, and I think it was from the yoga, like, okay, I'm good. I was coming back at night, and it was a semi on this side, semi in the slow lane, and I'm going to pass him. And man, a deer walked out in front of us. And it all happened within less than a second. But the semi couldn't turn to miss the deer because I was on his left side. He couldn't turn to the right side because if he clipped the deer, it could hit me. And he was thinking, all this is going through my head in less than a second. So he's thinking, I can't swerve right because I might clip the deer and it's going to hit the motorcyclist. And I just got to stay here. Now, and I see it. It happened so quick. I couldn't go, shh. I just go. And I passed that deer and he kept walking, thank God. And I was like, and me and the trucker, I kind of looked up and it's at night. I really can't say, but I felt that energy of him going, God damn it. And I was like, oh, but I think it was the breathing just said, because that would have been it. Because that deer just kind of like, boom, and it all happened less than a second. And I think it was the breathing because I didn't freak out like, I just go, okay.
Yeah.
And pass him. It's all in the breathing.
Taking that breath, man, it's huge.
The breath.
Yeah, I think playing with meditation and stuff, and then same thing with putting yourself through hardship. When you come across like things like traffic, like that's when I notice it too, right? When you get in a heated thing in traffic and you're like, this motherfucker. Yeah. That happens less when you're doing stuff like being mindful. When you're being mindful of like your emotions and stuff, I think that happens less because that will happen. Someone cuts me off and I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. You know,
right.
When I know I'm like more mindful of like what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. Same thing like going through hard workouts, getting beat up, putting just putting stress on yourself instead of life putting stress on you. It's when life does put that stress on you, it's more like, it's not that, it's not that big of a deal.
That's what we need in life to make this life better. I really think, and those things we just talked about, I think that's what we need. We need that. We need less medication and more
meditation.
Less medication, more meditation, people getting out to nature and being together as a family.
Make a gym class hard again.
Yeah. There you go.
Right?
Or no, just.
I remember the first time I ever tried to run a mile in gym class, I was like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Why are they doing this to us?
Yes, but I remember also like crying because I didn't want to get beat. And so I was crying and I had a little asthma.
There was that competitiveness. Yeah, I remember like wanting to be ahead of other kids, even though I was like, why are we doing this? This sucks. But man, there was that competitive thing of like, I don't want to be behind that kid. You know? I think that's important.
All that shit is
like
important.
man, like you just come across schools where it's like PE is always the A. Like you should know if you're failing PE class.
Oh my God!
Either you're really not showing up to class, or that teacher just hates you.
Yeah, or you're about to die. You get A in PE. I mean,
right?
Jesus,
like
fucking
it's usually like just participate in basketball, like pick up the basketball, but it's nothing like it's not really. We're not trying to bred kids to be in shape anymore. It's just
exactly. Man, I don't know where we lost that. I don't know where. I mean, honestly, I don't know where we lost that. That kids need that outlet to play, to maybe push yourself. We had was it the National Honor, not National Honor Society, but it was something, the PE certificate. I think you're too young to know what I'm talking about. No one, goddamn it, no one in this room knows what the fuck I'm talking about. I feel like I could be everybody's dad here, but it was a thing where like if you perform physically and like maybe you ran a mile under. We were kids, so maybe I guess under 6 minutes. Then you got a little certificate, and it was the biggest thing in the world. It was a physical education certificate. Yeah. It was the big thing, and I think we need to bring that back, man. Physicalness. And before we get here, I know we're running late, but I want to ask you. I asked when it was the motorcycle racer. I always ask him, what was that old shit moment? To where that's when you're like, you think you're doing well, and either somebody passes you, or you almost have like a career-ending accident. What was your old shit hit to make you go, okay, do I really want to do this shit? Like, well, what was the one hit or maybe one guy you faced where you were like, fuck this?
So there was one that I guess can immediately come to mind. It was one of the amateur fights where I went out to Alabama and I had a massive, horrible weight cut. And I didn't really feel it until the fight. And I remember one of the first things that happened was I threw an inside kick and I went shin to shin. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can throw that foot again or even step on it. And then on top of that, I was out of shape within the first few minutes of the fight. And I was like, this isn't normal. And you start to have that freak out and you think like, I cannot get tired. You know that feeling of like not wanting to be tired. So you hold yourself back in practice or something, which it takes a great coach to get you out of that. But But that feeling of like, oh shit, man, I'm gonna gas out. I'm gonna gas out. And you just panic and it's terrifying. And luckily, thank God for wrestling because that's all I did. Instead of punching, I just went straight into wrestling, right into wrestling. And I held the guy down for all 15 minutes and barely punched him because I was so gassed.
You John Fitched him?
I sure did. And thankfully, hey, I walked out of there with a title, but that was my oh shit moment. And that's when and it's just it was a learning lesson of like, hey, how do we cut weight better? How do we replenish better? And then also just being in better shape because I never want to feel that way again.
Dude, I love
terrifying.
It. I know. While you're in it, it's terrifying, but you know what? You learn from it. But I love how the fact you go fucking, I'm just going to hold this motherfucker.
And especially when he punches you in the face and you're gassing out. Not a fun feeling. I was getting punched in the face. And I'm like, I got to take this guy down as quick as I can.
Man, oh my God, I love talking to you, brother.
Dude, this was awesome.
I mean that. No,
thank you for popping the cherry on my first podcast, dude. This is great.
Don't say it like that again. But yeah, I feel like we're locked up in a cell together. Hey man, thanks for letting it be you.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
No, honestly, nothing but the best for you, my friend. I think you're with the same management company. I had another MMA fighter, but he's from Oklahoma, where I'm from. It was Hybrid Phillips. I don't know if you know him. He's with the same manager. You were at Punchment?
Sucker Punch.
Yeah, I think he's with them.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah, we'll talk after the air outfit. But man, I wish you nothing but the best. You're 2-0 now.
Thank you,
When's your next fight?
Hopefully May 13th in Sullivan, Indiana. We're trying to find an opponent.
Oh, I don't even know where that is.
It's about an hour and a half west, so not too far. Not too far.
Oh, is it close to Cincinnati?
I don't know.
You don't know either? Is it one of them scary ass towns where like, hey man, fight's over. Let's get the fuck out of here. Like that?
No. It's a nice little. It's like almost like Lebanon, I guess you could say. I mean, still.
Okay, I ain't going.
Maybe you're kind of our skin color, you know, the little darker type. You want to get out of there a little sooner, but
you're lighter skinned than me, so I'm in trouble, but you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wish you nothing but the best, bro. I mean, from the bottom of my heart,
as well.
Tiger Robles. Follow him on Instagram. This guy, I'm telling you, he's going to be champion. I know the guy, and he's got a great sense of humor. He was a bouncer at a comedy club. That shows what kind of guy this guy is.
Comedy.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for having me,
for
being on my podcast. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Nothing but the best for you, brother. I'm BT. You know what we say about this time. You know the word. Peace.